treated people with great respect and care, being aware of uniqueness of this wonder person. This awareness had been formed since childhood, and his hard road in science led to understanding inner works of human spirit and resulted in forming scientific basis of ethical behavior of people. Alexey Alexeyevich Ukhtomsky is our countryman, an outstanding scientist of worldwide fame in scientific circles, the founder of the Institute of Philosophy in our country. His teaching of Dominanta and following from it ethical law of esteemed interlocutor testify of Ukhtomsky as a person whose scientific feat is backed by his life devoted to people. My dear native parts, where God blessed me to be born on the bank of the winding rivulet of Voslamka that runs through brushwood and fields and gives its clear water to the Ukhra to the Shiksna flows to the Mother Volga. Also God blessed my spiritual birth, upbringing and mental inspiration there again on the Volga banks. God will bless me to work and serve for this land. The ancient family of the Ukhtomsky descended from the great prince of Vladimir Всеволод Yuryevich Bignest, who was ruling in the 12th century. Many of the Ukhtomskys were warriors. Prince Alexey Nikolaevich Ukhtomsky, a retired midshipman of Russian Navy, married Antonina Fedorovna Anfimova, a graduate of Pavlovsky Institute of Girls from noble families. They came to live in their family estate in the village of Voslama, Arefina community, Rybinsk district of Yaroslavl province. There were 6 children in the family. 2 boys died in infancy. There was nothing out of the ordinary in the fate of 2 girls, Maria and Yelizaveta. Ukhtomsky's elder brother Alexander became the bishop of Ufa, His Grace Andrei. At the age of 1, Alexei was taken into care by his father's sister, Anna Nikolaevna, and went to live with her in his ancestor's house in Vygonная Street in Rybinsk, where the best years of his life passed. Looking back, I see myself as a little boy in our Rybinsk house with Auntie Anna. We are sitting on a divan, our legs curled down with a book in the hands. I was learning how to read under my aunt's guidance. Anna Nikolaevna was an extraordinary, extremely generous, open, and spiritually wealthy person. She was not only Alexei's first teacher, but also his spiritual guide and friend. Her soul's warmth supported him all his life long. Another home teacher of Alexei's school years was Anna Nikolaevna's friend, Maria Mikhailovna Kolkunova, who gave Alyosha knowledge of foreign languages, which formed the basis of his broad outlook. Maria Kolkunova's son, Boris Milentiev, was Alyosha's bosom friend in the happy school years. As his father insisted, Alexei entered the Nizhegorodsky cadet corps, but the traditional narrow-mindedness of a military establishment engenders his need to self-education. This was the time of intensive study of the heritage of human spirit. Alexei's favorite teacher, mathematician Ivan Petrovich Dolbnya, helped in developing his gifts. Teacher of thought, that's what Ukhtomsky called him later. This man's advice played an important role in determining Alexei's further way. The young man makes a determined and purposeful step from military career to the chosen way, the way of exploring problems of psychology of personality. Pursuing this goal, he enters the philological department of the Moscow Spiritual Academy. One could say Ukhtomsky was lucky again in the academy, which was one of the biggest cultural and educational centers of Russia. There taught wonderful professors: Khrushchevsky, Tsvetkov, Kapterov, Voskresensky. Alexei Alexeyevich considered the years spent at the Trinity the happiest in his life and the most fruitful ones in his spiritual growth. It was also here that the question about some connection between ethical behavior of people and physiological processes in organism arose in his mind. I was going to the university with a certain urge to understand the factors and principles of human behavior and mentality. The lectures of the outstanding scientists Vedensky, Dogel, Platonov, Bechterev, Pavlov filled the mind of young Ukhtomsky, evoked in him an insatiable thirst of research activity. He makes experiments in Vedensky's laboratory of physiology and becomes one of his best pupils. Alexei Alexeyevich graduates from the university, thus reaching the climax in accumulating spiritual energy, based on the deepest knowledge of human heritage. The gift of his teachers starts flowing to his friends and disciples. Ukhtomsky's pedagogical activity begins, teaching anatomy and physiology in comprehensive secondary school and Lesgov's courses of physical education. On Bechterev's invitation, he delivers lectures in Psychoneurological Institute. Having defended the thesis for the degree of Master of Zoology in 1911 and becoming a staff member of St. Petersburg University next year, Alexey Alexeyevich delivering lectures in his alma mater. Finally, he was awarded the title of professor and lectures on the general course of the chair of physiology. Alongside with scientific research, pedagogical activity becomes one of his main occupations. Wonderful work. A holiday for our lot devouring lectures is. Why so? Because of communicating with the young and our dear science. Yes, a lot of good fortune fell on my destiny. Students of other departments of the university and even other educational establishments came to attend his lectures. Cadets of Moscow Medical Academy and workers of science also came along. There came the moment for Uktomsky, after which the accumulated energy of spiritual warmth began to pour on other people. Letters of more than 500 correspondents in the scientist's archives testify to the range of his soul's gravitation. Anna Vladimirovna Kaperina Kazanskaya, our countrywoman, was Alexey Alexeyevich's pupil in this period. The past 70 years could not erase the bright memories left in her soul by her teacher. Another citizen of Rybinsk, Kolya Vladimirsky, was Ukhtomsky's pupil in this time and lived for almost 2 years in his teacher's apartment, feeling the warmth of his generosity and care. These two young people were sent to Ukhtomsky by his old friend, Alexey Alexeyevich Zolotaryov, an expert student in his past and an author in the future. By the beginning of the 20s, their friendship had made a fresh start and grew stronger with meetings in Rybinsk and correspondence. Zolotaryov recalled, "So much helpful and good for myself, for my soul, for my salvation and God did I take to my heart in this time from my generous in thought and feeling dear namesake. So many lessons in strengthening will, curbing passions and thrusts he gave me by the example of the powerful personality." A wave of human warmth based the soul of another countryman of ours, Sergei Mikhailovich Badaev, who as a young man used to visit the 16th Vasily-Ostrovskaya line of Leningrad. This warmth stayed with him in spite of the abyss of 60 years, inspiring his memory. Among Rybinsk correspondence of Alexey Alexeyevich, there stands out his letters exchange with Elena Alexandrovna Makarova. This more than 30 years long experience of their spiritual communication is marked by the sign of high friendship. For each other, they were esteemed interlocutors indeed. This year was marked for Ukhtomsky by apotheosis of his scientific activity. Materials proven the empiric, as he called it, Laurent Dominante, were published. Dominante's simplified explanation is temporary domination of one nervous center over the others. This law explains most reasons of people's behavior in various situations. The knowledge of this law is priceless for physiologists, doctors, psychologists, sociologists, teachers. The time was flowing. A lot of strength and knowledge was given to public activities. Scientific research in the field of physiology of labor, confirming various aspects of teaching of Dominante, working out some applied subjects for the country's defense. There was hot acclaim on the part of his pupils, and everybody who attended him